coming out of my hair and everything.
I am so glad you are here. I'm here with Eshu, the special guest of the day. Oh, I even pointed the right way. I am learning to do things backwards. I love that. And we're just waiting for our Instagram friends to join us so that we can click go live with them. Here they come. Yay. I don't know why they have a delay, but they have a delay. It's weird. So welcome to It Is Live on Wednesday. It is December 10th in 2025. And what are we wearing? Look at these gorgeous pieces. These are all Tracy's treasures today. I've got beautiful hematite. Going to be stay grounded today. What are you? What are you? Oh yeah, you're tanzanite. That's right. This guy's tanzanite. This is the amethyst. They're both rough cuts. They're both gorgeous. And then this is a faceted clear quartz. So if you're like, I want something like a diamond, but doesn't cost like a diamond, faceted clear quartz is your friend. It's fabulous. And of course, the other rings, just, I don't always say it, but just so I say it once in a while, the other rings are engagement and wedding rings to my passed away spouse. So that's that. What are we drinking? Well, I'm drinking. We're both drinking today. So I'm drinking some black tea because I need that tea today, a little extra boost. Some ashwagandha, some astragalus. That was it. Astragalus, a little bit of hawthorn. Didn't put any fruit in today, just wasn't inspired. But delicious. And would you care to share what you are drinking today?
Ashwagandha and the other one that starts with an A.
Astragalus?
Yes. That with just some honey and some spiriva and licorice.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
We love this. Mm-hmm. It is one of the benefits of working here that you get to play with the herb wall and make yourself some tea, And like the nice lady says online, happy snacking, don't die, is the philosophy for the staff. Check with me if you need that help. Mm-hmm. For events coming up, let's cover those real quick. This Saturday, the 13th of December, 2025, Alliance Coven is back for their next installment. It's a 2-hour, completely free class. If you want just an intro to concepts and ideas that are prevalent in paganism, Wicca, witchcraft, practices from divination methods to what's a circle, just basic questions, this is the series for you. You don't have to have started at the beginning. You can jump in whenever you want, but it's a group of 3 very dedicated, very conscientious teachers. They get rave reviews. They've been getting rave reviews here for a few years before they formed Alliance Coven even, just from folks who love their classes. The following Sunday, if you want to know like nuts and bolts, intro stuff about Gardnerianism, that's at 10 o'clock before the store opens, completely free, just like the Alliance Coven the day before. That'll go for 1 hour, so it's 10 to 11, and that's it, because I got to do this at 11:15. And Nancy Antonucci's Tarot Lab is that same Sunday, the 14th at 3:30. That is a by donation class. It is a wonderful class to take if you are brand new to tarot curious, or an expert in tarot, because it's not lecture style, it's exercise style. She's going to give you some exercises to try, some thought processes to try out with your deck to get to know it better and be able to interpret it more naturally and more intuitively. Always a packed class. If you sign up, whether you sign up through us or through her, get here about 15 minutes early to grab a spot. Sometimes they set up chairs. Sometimes there's so many people, everybody's on the floor, just word to the wise. But that also tells you how packed it is. Sunday, the 21st, winter solstice, Reiki 1. What a good day to start your Reiki journey. The regeneration of the sun, regeneration of your health and healing. I love that idea. Just happenstance, but I like it. Saturday the 27th, astrology with Adam. This series he's been doing has gotten the best reviews. We had a reader here just pop into one of his by donation classes on astrology like this one and was kind of expecting something humdrum and basic, and he was blown away by how well it was organized, where the class went. Total recommend if you're into astrology. He's a font of knowledge, and it's always fun. Sunday the 28th, the very next day, 10 a.m., that Gardnerian intro thing. Fabulous. At noon, Reiki Share, if you've got your Reiki 1, 2, or 3 and just want to come and trade and chat with other people who do Reiki 2, this is your opportunity. And at 4, we have Palmistry 101, taught by Eshu. Fabulous. Does palmistry and tarot readings here. many days of the week. And on Saturday, January 3rd, we'll have the Alliance coming again at noon. And then near and dear to your heart, your class on American Hoodoo and Folk Magic.
Yep.
Come check it out. This is somebody who was born into that stuff, steeped in it.
Mhm.
I have very little from either side of my family. My American side, I have one spell. And yes, it's from the South. And it's how to get rid of a sty. I've never needed it. That's it for practical spell knowledge from my American family. My foreign family, a little bit better on that score, but not much.
Mhm.
Next up, what's in, what's new, what's fun. So they haven't arrived yet, but on the ship, on the truck now, waiting to get in here. Gosh, I'm hoping either today or tomorrow. Is a whole bunch of books from Llewellyn, including 5 new releases that nobody said the opportunity to get until now, because we order weekly. So I know. So Attract It All. If you're looking to do magic for love, prosperity, a happy home, health, any of it, Attract It All might be the good choice for you. Become an exceptional tarot reader. So if you're looking to get to do what Eshu does and come and do readings here, that's actually a pretty good place to start, is a book like that one. I'm going to save that one for last. The Essential Lenormand. I know you might already own the Essential Lenormand, but you own the first edition. It's the second edition that's coming out and will be here this week. And The Root of Trauma, which I think is a fascinating book because it takes people through working on their trauma and healing from it through the chakras. So we're starting with the root chakra and getting your basic needs met. And I like this because I think sometimes one of the things you have to do to get and work through your trauma is to be able to take a step back. And by putting the chakra into it, you're doing that. You're giving yourself just that little bit of thinking and breathing and feeling space that can make all the difference. This is a very good way to do it. And I saved for last, Before You Do Magic. This is by Donald Tyson. I am so looking forward to this book because it talks about the things that make magic work better. Not because you read it in a book, but because you practiced it, sometimes on a daily basis. If you can concentrate better, your memorization of any spells you want to do, any words, comes faster. There are exercises for that. If you meditate on a regular basis, you're better at getting into the proper mental and physiological state to do your magic. And there's a ton of things like that you can pick a habit, adopt it, and watch it improve your ritual work, your magical work, all of those things. And that's what that book is geared to. It's not go get these things and do this spell. It's here's the stuff you do before you go get the things and do this spell, so that your will is more honed and you're able to aim it better and get it to go further, faster, etc. So recommend that one. Now it's time for, I should do the readers before I do the stuff. Did not bring the reader schedule in with me, folks. I'm very sorry, but I do want to let you know Daryl is out on vacation for the week. So you might see Eshu then, but there are short shifts for them. So everybody else, though, will be here this week. Ravenwolf, Eshu, Margaret, Heather, the whole gang is here except for poor Daryl, who's off on vacation, terror, horror. He's having a good time, we hope. We're supporting him in that. But come get those readings. And Morphe is doing dream interpretations on Monday afternoons. But everybody else does tarot. And with the exception of Daryl, who does the Oracle decks. And you, in addition to tarot, also do the palm readings.
Yes.
And just though I've said it, everyone who's a reader here auditions on every modality they're reading with. Sometimes those auditions are very short. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're 30 minutes long. It really depends on the experience level of the person who's doing the audition and all of that wonderful stuff. So come grab your reading. Now is a great time to get a reading to forecast for 2026 for you. Not that there's not some writing on the wall this year, but we're going to, the better time we have, the more we can, thumb our noses at the powers that want to make life harder. Mm. Now for fun stuff. Fun stuff I've got for you. Brought in mostly gift ideas, but want to let everybody know it's true. The grab bags are back. They are 11.11. You're going to find a book in here. You're going to find probably some incense. You're going to find other stuff beyond that. What it is, I don't know. I put them together, but I don't know. Routinely, they're worth 2 to maybe 2.5 times what you're paying. Plus, you get the fun of opening up a grab bag with a snarky little thing on it. Like, what do you call a dating service for Wiccans? Craft singles, obviously. A lot of dad jokes. They're very cool. And one bag that I have recreated because it tickled somebody so much that I figure it's only fair y'all get to see it. But it's a throwback to the 80s. Wiccan dance. Wiccan dance. And if your friends don't chant, and if they don't chant well, they're no friends of mine. It's awful. But see, everybody has that response if they know the reference. Beyond that, I grabbed a few things I thought might make good combo gifts for people. So say you've got a friend who is into weird creatures, cryptids, etc. 1, that's just fun. And 2, grab them a book. There's plenty that we have on the shelf, but I thought I'd grab this one because this is just a general thing on magical creatures. But you can get ones on dragons or unicorns or all kinds of fun stuff in that little section. And that would make a great pairing for a present. I also like the slightly snarky Buddhitude mug paired with, this gorgeous coffee table book called Enlightenment. It's got a little phrase, a little saying from somebody within the tradition, something that fits alongside a photo that's absolutely gorgeous. Totally recommend that. Or maybe your friend is into chakras. You could get them this beautiful little kit with a stone for each chakra and a selenite charging plate. And yeah, those are the symbols for the chakras themselves, which a lot of people aren't as familiar with when they're just starting out. So it's kind of nice that they're engraved right into the gift set. You want to gild a lily? There you go, little chakra book. Or maybe they're going through a thing and you want to help them out, but you know that this is a thing they really like. Maybe a little chakra healing book. These are good choices. I love those. And then I like it when we do local. So I did grab, these are Mary's Dragon Feathers. Dark Moon Dragon Feathers is the name of her company. So a little bit of, this one is her sigil powder. She's got about 4 different powders, Banishing, 4 Thieves, just plain eggshell. She just wants plain eggshell. And she's also done these gorgeous inks. She's got about 6 of them. This one's rabbit's blood. This one's bat's blood. Those are the 2 I grabbed. Is there actual rabbit's blood in them? No. Is there actual bat's blood in them? No. No animals are ever harmed. These are references to plant materials. And she's also, you can see this one on the bottom, added some mica that you really have to shake in there, but it gives the whole thing a little bit of glitter. A set of these with something to draw with, like a dip pen, not a fountain pen, but a dip pen. Or actually, I like Q-tips. I would love a box of Q-tips with these. I would go crazy with it. So those are all fun. And if you want to pair those with something, pick something about doing magic from a path that the person you're giving the gift to might appreciate. There are so many paths, because everybody's been in a jam everywhere in the world at some point, that everybody's developed magic. And I think it's kind of fun to see where they have it in common as well as where they have it different. I just think that's kind of neat. I'm fond of saying in herbalism, when you're looking at different systems of herbalism, maybe at a TCM or Chinese approach, or looking at an Ayurvedic approach from India, or a Western herbal approach, which that's its own little world. I often like to say that they match up like this. It's almost a match. 90% of it's the same, but then you get these little cultural nuances that give you so much insight into how people think about health and healing, what those cultures contribute to the world. It's the same with magic. It's so much fun. So anyway, that is all the stuff, all the things, all the happenings. Let's talk about that class coming up in January.
The American Hoodoo.
Yes, Eshu is here. He's going to teach the American Hoodoo and Folk Magic class. So what inspires you to teach this class?
Well, what inspires me is a lot of, misinformation actually is what's really inspired me over the years.
It's amazing what being annoyed at people. can
Exactly.
motivate.
And I'm trying to do it. Well, I thought instead of like internalizing it and letting it be something that was making me angry, I decided, well, you know what? Actually, how about we educate some people? Because there is more than one style of hoodoo.
Yeah.
A lot of people mistake hoodoo and voodoo for being the same. Definitely not. And, you know, it is, while it can be culturally specific, in American hoodoo more specifically, it is a hub of many different cultures. We see American Native American Indian. We also have a lot of even Asian and Irish, and also yes, African. So many different cultures are actually comprised into this because it was based off of all of the people who were indentured in this country.
Yes, I would say it's more based on poverty than anything else.
Exactly, rather than it being all just being slavery. I mean, yes, that was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
But that's why people also sometimes forget that it wasn't just Africans who were slaves in this country.
Well, that's true.
And so that's why I wanted to actually use that in my classes, talk about those, and even where a lot of that American folk magic and hoodoo are even practiced in our everyday practices as well. So many people don't realize that they might actually be practicing a form of hoodoo. Yeah. And a lot of the superstitions that we have are actually based off of hoodoo. And so therefore, I really want more people, I like to give people more education, more inclusivity, and, you know, and also the differences between that and closed practices.
Yes.
Because closed practices, yes, always have respect for those. And also, a lot of those closed practices we don't know anything about because, well, they're closed practices.
Yep.
So
you might feel you have an inkling. You might feel you have a clue.
Right.
But you can't confirm it completely.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with the closed practice, with trying to get into the closed practices when there's so much to play with in the non-closed ones.
There's so many things that are actually that we can be doing that are not closed. And then there's a lot of things where you're seeing on social media that people are saying are closed when actually they are far from closed. So that's why I like to give them more correct information rather than keep feeding into the misinformation and the disinformation, and especially the racial segregation that has become very popular within the spiritual communities lately.
Yeah.
And
let's get over ourselves, please.
Yes, and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and get on a political soapbox about those things, but I do believe that if we're going to, you know, in a spiritual way, talk about something, we want to talk about something with education rather than just something that we heard on social media. And because a lot of that stuff is really actually, I feel, has done a lot of damage to the spiritual communities and a lot of damage to people who are new and are scared to practice because they're afraid they might be appropriating something that actually they were naturally gravitating to, and spirit was actually, you know, gravitating to for a very good reason.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I do believe that people should be more included and not feel so uncomfortable and also feel so discriminated against.
Yep.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
it absolutely does. And it's not just that, it's also that you might come up with a practice all on your little lonesome. You might invent a thing that you read about in a book later. That clearly somebody else had the same thought.
Exactly.
Completely mundane example. When my kid was an infant, I made up a song for them. As far as I knew, I made up a simple melody. I was sure I was not original in the melody because it was way too simple. Because it's for a little kid. Of course, it's going to be a simple melody. And I would just make up a new verse every month, and there was a chorus. And it's very sweet and it's very cute, and it kind of describes his development. But then suddenly I heard an episode of a sitcom where the exact same melody was being used. Again, in a situation that would have been for a child.
Right.
Never once did I have delusions of this being an original thought, except that it was original in my head. But the idea that another human didn't think of it before me would have been insane. And I think with some of those magical practices, that happens. You made a thing up, you think you've got something great, and then you find it in a book somewhere and you're like, it says I'm appropriating. You can't have appropriated it if you thought it up on your own.
Right. And also, you can't really appropriate something when it might even be in your ancestry.
Yes.
You can't look at somebody and tell somebody, oh, well, you're not allowed to do that. That's not your culture.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those cultures were also multiracial as well. So you can't really always look at somebody and tell that. And unfortunately, our society has gone very backwards over these last few years. We've definitely gone about 50 years backwards, where it's gone back to almost feeling like we're in the Jim Crow era all over again.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of how it started. Was it went from with the progressives saying, oh, well, this is appropriating this, don't do this, don't do that, when really they were just kind of projecting their own racism and telling everybody else what they were allowed and not couldn't do. And that ended up creating, well, what we saw as segregation.
Yeah.
So that's partly what my classes are going to be about: the education, the spell crafting as well, and even the similarities of the other cultures and how they even came together and how they blended those things together. Because one thing that when I first moved up here and I was working with another practitioner, I was doing magic with her, and it turned out we were doing the same exact thing. She was doing witchcraft, I was doing hoodoo, and we both were just like, okay, we're doing the same thing. And that's when I decided it was time for me to start teaching the classes, saying instead of excluding, it was more including, and saying, okay, well, you know what? Hoodoo, American hoodoo, because I have to be very specific when I say American hoodoo, is a mixture of so many different cultures and so many different practices. And honestly, there's a little bit of something in there for everybody.
Yeah. And we are talking about practices that, if I remember correctly, are mostly coming out of the southern U.S.
Yeah, the southern U.S. where I'm from. My mother's side of the family, all from the bayous of Mississippi and Louisiana. And so a lot of our practices actually are hoodoo practices. And what's interesting, the African side of my family, the African Haitian, where I actually get a lot of my Ifa practices from, they're from the north. But a lot of my mother's side of the family that practices the hoodoo, all of my hoodoo came from my mother's side, and they were Native American, Irish, and they do have some African, and they do have some African in the lineage, but it mainly came from them. And so and when I was living down in Louisiana, especially seeing how everybody was practicing, all of it hoodoo. And so therefore, a lot of the misinformation lately, it's just kind of made me, I was very angry at first, and I was just kind of watching people say, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm just like, but you can. It's just, this is how you do it. So just giving the education. And I feel like people will really benefit from that, because there's a lot of people here who practice multicultural practices, and they don't even know what it's called, or they're afraid, or they've turned it off of their practice completely because they heard it was appropriating. When there's a difference, it's actually appreciating.
Yeah.
And when you're appreciating and honoring something with respect, honestly, you're going to see it's going to work. And magic itself, it doesn't belong to anybody.
Yeah.
That's what people need to remember, is that it belongs to everyone.
Yeah.
So
there's and just based on the fact that we're all humans, we're going to come to some similar conclusions and processes and symbolisms, especially since if we're talking about American hoodoo, we all live in this country.
Exactly.
So, we're all faced with the same little bits of pop culture that affect us one way or the other and seep into how we think about things.
Exactly.
If I say that I'm giving you a crystal slipper, that's a reference to Cinderella.
Exactly.
I don't have to spell that out for you. If you write an eclectic initiation for someone and you get clear plastic shoes for them, slippers for them, they're going to know that part of their role in their own initiation is to be Cinderella. And I say that because there's an eclectic initiation about the Wizard of Oz with glittery red shoes.
Exactly.
That's a real one that actually happened. And I think tapping into and taking advantage of those already existing pieces of how your mind works. And it works that way because you lived here. It's inescapable.
Right. And that's another thing about American magic, well, hoodoo and folk magic, is a lot of people discount it from who are living outside of the country. And really, there is so much here that's very powerful that we're not even tapping into because we won't even appreciate our own culture. And we're even subliminally being told not to.
Yeah.
And that is something you should always be aware of, when you should always be wary of people telling you not to even appreciate your own whole culture, your own ancestry, and always just kind of be, what do they have to gain from that loss?
Yeah.
And so therefore, when you're going in deeper, that's when you should definitely do it through respect, of course, but also you'll understand that maybe that might be the reason. Maybe you actually could find more power. Maybe you can find more unity with that as well. Maybe the very thing that they're telling you to stay away from might be the very thing that might help you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that idea of honoring where the information comes from, I think that's really the key to it being appreciation. And you will get better at that if you attend this class,
right?
Because it's part of the information that's going to be covered. You will always be able to improve your appreciation for these things as you get better educated,
right?
By reading, by watching YouTubes with a little skepticism in mind,
right?
By attending lectures from people who've actually grown up in it and done it and have worked out the methodologies that work best for them, and then therefore they can give you some tips,
right?
So will what you do be exactly what you need to do when you take the class? No, but it might be 98% the same.
Exactly.
So go for it. And I also love that idea of, I have to admit, I was thinking about it earlier. I'm trying to phrase it nicely. That backslide we've had over the last decade or so or more. I do think all of this talk is about separating people from each other and deciding that you should have an enemy that is not your enemy.
Exactly.
That is, in most likelihood, one of your greatest allies.
Right.
And forgetting that people are people.
Right. Yeah. And that's just it. It's not, your neighbor isn't your enemy.
Right.
It's whoever's telling you that your neighbor's your enemy that you might want to be looking at, because they're definitely benefiting off of it. They're benefiting off of that segregation.
Yes.
And that's why we don't need that any further.
Right. So. And the more we break that down, I think the better, the more we fulfill the promise of this country.
Exactly.
And that's true American culture to me. Not that I have a soapbox about this. Not that I couldn't do.
I mean, we definitely could, and we could definitely take this a completely different trajectory. But
I have strong feelings. I don't know if you can tell.
Yes, and that's partly why I figure doing the classes will actually be more beneficial, because I feel like instead of me putting my going into my emotions, do it through everything that I've learned, everything that I've been helping to teach, and I actually, and from everything that I've taught so far, it's actually gone over very well. It was well received. So that's why, you know what, I'm taking this to the next step now.
Yay.
So that's really what it is.
I love that.
And I will be teaching some spells as well. So therefore people can actually feel, so therefore they can learn with that too. But yes, my first class will be more about the history and everything.
Yeah, cool.
So
very cool. But yeah, magical techniques and where they come from, their history, how they've influenced each other even is part of what you'll discover in the class. So I would totally recommend it. And of course, you also do other things here. And there's a product line coming out, right?
Exactly. Yes. Eshu's Bayou product line. I actually do sell what people call tar water. It's made with black walnut, some of my brick dust, and a few other things as well. I'm not going to tell you all my secrets here, but my railroad spikes and also I have some brick dust that I actually have from New Orleans. A lot of things that I actually still have that I haven't put out yet, but I feel like in the beginning of the year it will be the best time to start introducing those things. Right now, holiday season is partly why it's not all out yet, but I am working on all of those. And also I do make custom mixtures as well. So if people come in, they'll be able to, ask me about something and I can do it.
Yeah. And then keep in mind with something like the various waters that you can make, I promise you can find a basic recipe online.
Mm,
The difference between that basic recipe and what you make or what you would make yourself is that little extra thing or 2 or 5 that you add
mm,
to enhance the whole process. And you might add those things because you attend a class and you learn a little something. Well, I'm definitely putting that in this then. Or you might come to it intuitively or through researching the ingredients yourself. It is amazing to me, if you dive just a little bit, how much you can learn about, every society has done this particular thing.
yeah, in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And that's just it with the black walnut water that's called the tar water. There's actually many different cultures that actually adopted that one. But yeah, a lot of the ones that I'm doing right now came from actually my mother's side of the family.
Nice.
And so therefore my great grandmother was very, very into her craft, and that was everything that I have personally kind of adopted over the years. And I did kind of add my own little twist to some things as well. And I have no problem with my classes teaching people those mixtures, but not gonna say, not gonna get on with a bunch of strangers because people do like to copycat some things.
They do. They do. So yeah, keeping some stuff a little close, but sharing it judiciously, I think makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
It's a good thing. So classes, stuff coming soon, readings, palm readings, tarot readings. And you're here, you're here today.
I'm here today. I'm here Wednesday, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Yes.
So yes, the Wednesdays I'm here from 12 to 6. Sunday I'm here from 12 to 6. The other 2 days I'm here till 3.
Yes,
So,
noon to 3. Yeah, exactly. And for anyone still wondering about Tracy, she is still taking time for her health, and her body is being very stubborn. That's the best way I can describe it. So please send her your good thoughts, and by all means, pick up some of Tracy's treasures, and then I can send her another check, and that always helps.
Exactly. And also, like I said, with Tracy, I'm just temporarily taking those Sundays until she gets back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So because we love Tracy.
Exactly.
She's wonderful.
Oh yes, I used to work for her too at the other shop, and nothing but respect.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, she's tons of fun. She's very good at everything she does. Highly recommend.
Yes.
And so hopefully she'll be back, and hopefully you'll still be doing lots of readings here anyway.
Exactly.
So get your good days, good times, all that good stuff. Well, I think that rounds us out pretty nicely. We're not quite at 5:02, but only having 5 minutes to open the store is a little bit of a stretch. So I'm comfortable saying, yay, we did a good job.
Yeah.
And thanking all of you for all of your wonderful comments, and and thank you very much, Chanda, in particular. I love that. And the magical things you can do here, because you're so magical yourself, of course. I'll re-upload this on Facebook and YouTube a little later. The QR code that is up on the screen in that corner. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. That is going to take you right to our website where you can register for that American Hoodoo and Folk Magic class coming up in January. It is one of our by donation classes. So it's going to be on that Saturday, the first Saturday of January at 3 p.m. You can just show up. You can let us know you're coming. If you all sign up on the website, he'll know how overwhelmed he's going to be. And I love that idea. How many people will there be? It's always fun. So hopefully we'll see you all next week. In the meantime, have a great week. And on behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, thank you all so much. We look forward to seeing you or hearing from you.
Thank you.
In any of the socials, email, the website, magusbooks.com, or here at the shop in Minneapolis. For now, blessed be.
Have a good day.